I'll tell you what I'm trying to do. I mean, I think I understand how to build an economy. We don't get much credit for it, but the black leadership in Atlanta built this city. And we did it at a time when white folk were trying to take their money everywhere but Atlanta. And we created one of the most successful economies in the world. During the time I was mayor, we brought in $70 billion worth of private investment. And that was before the Olympics. It's probably been in excess of $100 billion. See, overall. And folk think it was an accident, but some of us knew what we were doing. And the reason I came back from the UN and agreed to be mayor, or to try to be mayor, was that I learned at the UN that there were billions of dollars of private capital looking for a safe, honest place to invest. And I decided to make Atlanta a safe, honest place for anybody to invest their capital if they would see to it that that capital was invested in a non-discriminatory way, preferably in an inclusive way, so that everything was done in joint ventures with black and white together, with male and female included. And we have been working on building an inclusive economy. And that's what Africa has to do. And Africa can't do that with government funds, no matter how rich the government. Africa has got to become the place of choice for private capital. It is the place in the world that offers the most return potentially for private capital. And the only reason people can't see it is one, color, the other, disease, and the third is that politically certain vested interests have perpetuated turmoil in Africa. The United States, France, say, Belgium, Germany at some times. Almost everybody's got dirty hands when it comes to Africa, including Africans themselves. It wasn't outsiders that screwed up Nigeria. Nigerians did that by themselves, see, in their own greed, and they put sanctions on their economy. And Nigeria should be a growing economy, and will be. And I say over and over again, one of the things we've got to learn is that you can make more money honestly in a growing economy than you can steal from a dying economy. And Mobutu proved that, see? And Abacha proved that. And we don't need to do that anymore. We need to find a way to grow a free market economy that is available to all God's children. And the way I define that as shorthand is a Marshall Plan, a private sector Marshall Plan for individual African countries. Botswana's doing it on their own. See? Angola could do it with a little help. South Africa is beginning to do it. See? But the Congo could do it. Uganda is beginning on its own. But I think and the World Bank understands this very well, and the successful businesses in the world understand this. So you don't have to convince the Coca-Colas and the Chevrons or the the Southwestern Bell telephone companies, Ericsson, Volvo, the big businesses that understand that to survive in the 21st century, they've got to be leaders in a global economy, know that now is the time to start laying a foundation in Africa. And we want to help.
And so you're acting as a bridge, as a conduit.
We're trying, and that's why we call our company very presumptuously Good Works International, because our first effort is to do good. And if we can pay the bills and end up, taking care of our families, fine. But almost all of us have found a way to be successful before this. I think that this isn't nearly as difficult and impossible as the civil rights movement was when I started it, or when I started talking about going to Congress, or when I started supporting Jimmy Carter finally. Even the Atlanta Journal and Constitution said, Jimmy is running for what? I mean, they thought that was absolutely ridiculous. And talk about Atlanta as an international city, and the newspapers used to do cartoons ridiculing me as a mayor that wanted to have a foreign policy. See? And then the Olympics. And eventually folk are going to realize that maybe I know what I'm talking about.
And you will also have a 95th birthday party, like Ms. Idellis.
Well, I think that we have to plan to live to 100. That the human body has enough energy and capacity to sustain us for at least a century if we take care of it. And it takes us that long to solve so many of the complex problems. Look at Dorothy Height. I mean, she's going strong. See, Coretta doesn't like to admit her age, but she looks good and she's doing well. I think I think it's going to take time. And when Martin Luther King was killed, I just decided that some of us had to plan to be around here a long time, and if we get killed on the way, that's no problem. But don't run yourself down. Don't worry. Say, don't fret